Hey guys, hope y'all doing good today. So this video I'm going to cover Keeta, KTA, and why it's the next $100 billion token. Now we're going to cover everything from the founders to the background to recent partnerships to investors and everything in between. So stay tuned. It's going to be a very comprehensive video, but by the end of it, you're going to understand why Keeta is better than most of the top 100 tokens. So first, looking at the charts. Now this chart has been up only since March. And right now it's sitting at a circulating market cap of 566 million with an FDV of 1.4 billion. And in my opinion, it still has much more room to go. So let's go ahead and look at their website, Keeta.com. Now, on their website, it says Keeta serves as a common ground for all payment networks and assets. Now, I want to mention it does a lot more than just payment networks. So let's go into it. One, you can move assets across networks. You can trade real world assets and compliance. So they meet regulations for traditional finance channels. There's no extra friction required. So anyone who knows, if you get into the RWA space, real world assets, tokenizing assets, you need so many different certificates, so many different, regulations that you comply with, and just a lot of things that you need to comply with. So it's very comprehensive, and which is why not many people offer trading real world assets. So one of the main reasons why Keeta is one ahead of the rest. They also deliver 10 million transactions per second and 400 millisecond settlement times. So which is their key to enabling a unified network. Now, I don't know any cryptocurrency that has 10 million TPS and 400 millisecond settlement times. And so again, that's another factor that puts Keeta ahead of the competition. It says, quote, Keeta is orders of magnitude more scalable and efficient than existing solutions. This was by Eric Schmidt. He's the former CEO of Google and a Keeta investor. So we're going to get more into him and exactly why this is such a big deal. But he is a big backer of Keeta and a big reason for its success recently. Obviously here we already talked about built-in tokenization, but the built-in compliance, this is interesting here. It says Keeta Network provides regulatory compliance and a digital identity verification by enabling trusted KYC providers to issue secure digital certificates for user accounts. Now here, I took a screenshot of their video, and you can see here whenever you're swapping or sending crypto to someone, you can verify email, passport, address, and full name. So again, they use that as part of their regulation and compliance and using KYC to verify to make sure you are always safe. It says the certificates allow instant verification across the network while ensuring privacy and maintaining high security standards. Also, they have a decentralized marketplace so you can leverage their cross-chain protocol to tokenize assets. And then also you can see the comparisons here. So sub-second transaction finality up to their competitors, up to several minutes. You have transaction fees reduced to pennies, 10 million transactions per second, native tokenizations, and built-in compliance protocol. So you can see already how far they are ahead of the competition. But this is just scratching the surface. Let's go in deeper. So looking at their posts, if you're not following them at Keeta Network, go ahead and give them a follow. Again, they post a lot of useful info. And here it says Keeta not only bridges the gap between traditional finance and blockchain, it also connects with existing blockchain networks, enabling high-speed transfers between any two assets and interoperability across ecosystems. So again, I mentioned they're not just a payment network, they actually are so much more. They work on interoperability, they actually solve the blockchain trilemma, and they work on KYC regulation and compliance. So again, there is a lot of stuff that Keeta does, and that's why they're so far ahead of the competition. But again, there's more that we're going to go into. So if you want to look more into this, then you can actually click on these links. But it says, after several years of building, we launched the KTA token to begin the rollout of Keeta Network. KTA serves as the governance token, offering network ownership to holders. So again, that's very important. And it says, we are working closely with respected financial entities to modernize financial infrastructure from the ground up. So I'm going to go more into this as well. Next, so talking about the team, their founder, actually Ty, if you want to follow him, at SEHENKTY, he was an ex-Nano team member, so also known as Ryblox. From 2017 to 2018, it reached an all-time high of 4.5 billion market cap. So already the team has a lot of experience, especially one, running a token up to over 4 billion market cap, but two, the inner workings of what's needed to run a token that high. So already it's a very, very smart team. Now let's go ahead and talk about Eric Schmidt, because it mentioned he worked with Google and he's a big investor of Keeta. So here, if you go on Google, it says Eric Schmidt, the former CEO of Google, is an investor and advisor in Keeta, a cross-border payment platform. Keeta is a startup that aims to make international payments as easy as Venmo, offering both business tools and a consumer-facing mobile app. Schmidt's involvement includes backing the company's $17 million funding round. So it already talks about Keeta's mission and Schmidt's role. It says he expressed enthusiasm for the platform's potential to modernize global payments. He also serves as an advisor to the company. Okay, so now let's go into Schmidt a little bit more. So it says, besides Keeta, Schmidt is also involved in other blockchain and crypto ventures, including Chainlink Labs. So this guy knows some of the top cryptocurrencies to invest in. So if he was in Chainlink and now he saw some promise in Keeta, that tells you a lot. Now let's go ahead and look into his background a little bit more. So if you go to LinkedIn, scroll down a little bit. So executive chairman and technical advisor to Alphabet Inc. for 5 years, and then CEO and chairman of Google. Look at this, for 14 years. He was the CEO and chairman of Google. That should tell you something in and of itself. Education, he went to Princeton University, Bachelor's of Science in Electrical Engineering, and University of California, Berkeley. MS and PhD in Electrical Engineering and Computer Sciences. So this guy is extremely smart. He's worked for the top companies, been CEO for 14 years, and he decided to choose Keeta as one of his big investments. Actually, his first crypto investment, and we'll go over that as well. Again, guys, there's a lot of positive announcements for Keeta, so this video is probably going to be a little bit long, but stay tuned. You're going to want to see everything that is going to prove that Keeta will be a $100 billion token. Next, there was an article that was actually posted in March, and it says Keeta network soars on reported investment from Eric Schmidt. Again, the guy we were just talking about. And it talks about Keeta being a layer 1 blockchain, is gaining momentum after moving out of stealth and launching its own token on Base March 5th. It says the token nearly tripled after reported investor Eric Schmidt followed the project's X profile yesterday. So if we go to Eric Schmidt's account here, you can go to his following, and you can see right here, he is still following Keeta Network. So that's still, legitimate. And then scrolling down here, it says, according to reports, Schmidt spoke about the investment in 2023 and said, Keeta's technology is orders of magnitude more scalable and efficient than existing solutions. Remember, this was on their website as well. So that shows you someone who's been a CEO at Google for 14 years and who's been to Princeton and Berkeley and has a PhD, saying Keeta's technology is orders of magnitude more scalable and efficient than existing solution. That tells you a lot, and that's the exact reason why it's gone up so much since March. Again, people are finally starting to discover it, and the tech speaks for itself. We'll actually talk about that in a minute. It says Keeta recently announced its upcoming testnet, which is expected to launch by the end of March, along with a compatible wallet solution and block explorer. So let's go ahead and look at that testnet. Okay, so here you can see CryptoJamie actually quote tweeted Keeta, and it says the community has been active on Keeta's test network. We have intentionally limited the TPS due to the absence of fees. Stay tuned for the audited stress test of 10 million TPS soon. Look at this, max TPS achieved 47,650, total transactions 1 billion. So this was just on the test network, okay? And again, they're going to have an audited stress test of 10 million TPS soon. So they're already showing you the legitimate data from their test network. And also, to add on to this, so CryptoJamie, for anyone who doesn't know him, he is a huge, huge proponent in the space, very big influencer, and very reputable in the space. Whatever he backs, it always sends. And he's actually been talking about Keeta since March. And he has had conviction every step of the way, and you can see, obviously, it's played out. Now, let's go over a couple other of his tweets. It says, KTA is the only PVE coin to drop during this mini on-chain bear market. Imagine not buying the next XRP trading at 28 mil circulating market cap. March 17, 2025. Like I said, he's been talking about it since March. Now he said here, Eric Schmidt is the lead investor. It's his first angel investment in all of crypto. This is big. A guy who's been CEO of Google, Princeton, Berkeley, first angel investment in all of crypto, says the technology is orders of magnitude better than anything else around. It says he didn't invest under a fund, he invested under his name on the line. Study reputation. KTA is going to 10 billion much faster than you think. This was posted May 19th. And now again, it's already over $1 billion. Okay? So CryptoJamie does his research. He has a lot of connections and he knows a good project when he sees it. And you can already see just from Eric Schmidt, again, being his first investment in all of crypto, that's huge as well. Now, let's go over some of the metrics when compared to other cryptocurrencies. It says L1 potentially 153 times faster than Solana, with mainnet coming next month. So again, mainnet is coming very soon, guys. So it should be by June or in July. So it's going to be very, very soon. And you can see here, looking at the transaction throughput, so 10 million TPS on KTA, Ethereum 120, Solana 65,000 TPS, and obviously the others are no competition. Finality, again, the same as Solana, less than 0.4 seconds. Native KYC, the only person with native KYC. Circulating supply, again, very, very low. Total supply, 1 billion. Current market cap, 50 million. And then peak market cap at time of writing, 90 million. Again, you can see just compared to the competition, how far below it is and how much room it has to catch up. Which again, why I believe, and I strongly believe, it'll be a 100 billion plus token. Now, going further, we can see Delphi Digital actually talked about it as well, May 21st. It says, Keeta Network be the blockchain institutions have been waiting for. And then they actually have a very, very thorough report on it. So I'm not going to read all of this. I'm just going to skim it a little bit. But it says, Keeta aims to be the fastest and most regulatory-friendly blockchain by combining high throughput with native compliance tools to meet TradFi standards. And here they combine a directed acyclic graph DAG structure with a delegated proof of stake consensus mechanism to enable parallel processing in sub-second finality. So again, remember I mentioned the founder. He works with Rayblocks and Nano. Very, very complex ecosystems. And so that's why, again, Keeta is actually doing everything similar to how they did it back then. And it says how Keeta scales. It says it doesn't squeeze transactions through monolithic validators. Instead, it uses serverless workers deployed across cloud providers like AWS and GCP, which allow throughput to scale linearly with more cloud resources. Again, this is why experience matters. This is why being a founder of a very successful company back in 2017, 2018, why that's so big today, because you can use what you learned. And just like Ty is doing, the founder of Keeta, he is actually showing exactly how to make Keeta the most efficient. And it says, this is how modern web apps scale and how Keeta targets its ambitious 10 million plus TPS performance. And it says it also enables use cases like cross-border payments, interbank settlement, digital identity, and it plans to implement a smart contract VM expanding beyond fast payments into broader financial use cases. There's also native token privileges. It bakes token functionality directly into its ledger. And it introduces anchors, built-in bridges that connect assets from other blockchains and TradFi systems to the ledger. And like I already said, it's built for regulatory compliance. And here, led by Schnetke and Roy Keane, Keeta is backed by prominent investors like Eric Schmidt, former Google CEO, potentially opens doors for strategic partnerships and adoption. And so obviously risks still exist, but as we've seen from the testnet, they have proven themselves so far. So again, mainnet is planned for the summer and they'll see if they can deliver. And so again, this is a very thorough report. If you want to check it out, I'll post it in the comments and in the description, but you can just go to Delphi_digital and you can see on May 21st that they posted this. Now here, let's talk about the chart. So obviously Keeta's been up only since March. They had a stealth launch, so everyone had a chance to get in early. Now you can see the buyers aren't small here and they have high conviction. So this one wallet, I wanted to point it out because initially it bought in May and then it sold May 15th. And then after that, it has essentially just kept buying. You can see here, I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars that this wallet has bought. And so that show, and there's plenty of these too. We'll go over more of them, but there's plenty of these that show the conviction that the buyers have in this project and why they keep buying even when it makes all-time highs at 1.4 billion FDV. Now, here also a post by Brazil ZZ. He says, study the strength of KTA without any tier 1 sex listings and major updates coming. So that's another thing you need to keep in mind. There's no tier 1 sex listings yet. So there is still plenty of ammunition for Keeta to go much higher. Also, you have Avocado Toast. This guy is very reputable as well in the space, and he finds a lot of good projects early. And it says, I get that KTA chart and the fact that some people are up a lot can be intimidating for those looking to enter. But rephrasing the situation, the only reason the chart looks so crazy is because it was a fair launch at basically zero market cap. Normally, a retail would only get access to a world-class project like this on a SEX, starting with a listing FDV in the billions. Okay, now let's go ahead and see what he was talking about. So here, if you look at the tokenomics, so the community and the ecosystem reserve, 50%. So they give a large chunk to the community. Look at this, 80% unlocked on TGE, and then ecosystem, 6-month lock, 48-month vesting, monthly unlock. Okay, so that's why, because everyone had a chance to get in at the beginning. And then look at the team. The team has a 9-month lock with 36-month vesting. So that shows you they are convicted in this project. They have a lot of conviction. So 9-month lock. Early investors, 6-month lock, and then 24-month vesting. Again, committed. And then finally, the foundation treasury, 3-month lock with 48-month vesting. So they're in it for the long haul, and that's what you want to look at. I always look at the tokenomics. I look at how long are the cliffs, right? The locks. And here you can see the team has a 9-month lock, early investors have a 6-month lock, and foundations have a 3-month lock, meaning there's no tokens being released. And then even when the tokens are released, it's spread out over 36 months, 24 months, 48 months, right? This is what you want to see in a project. Next, you can see here a different wallet, major buys coming in. I mean, look at this. You have hundreds of thousands of dollars in buys coming in. So this tells you how bullish people are on KTA. Also, we had articles that recently came out in Yahoo Finance. Ex-Google chief Eric Schmidt backs firm behind blockchain credit bureau. Okay, this made big news because also Keeta actually had a partnership. And here it says, high throughput blockchain Keeta and credit data platform Solo companies, both backed by former Google CEO Eric Schmidt, are introducing an on-chain credit bureau to give digital asset owners access to mortgages, small business loans, and other traditional lending services. So again, this is where you can combine the RWA, real world asset tokenization platform, but also combining the compliance platform. Okay, so that you can see how it all ties into play. Now also look at this. So they posted about this and it says Solo has partnered to launch a first blockchain native credit bureau. And it says an on-chain profile that consolidates KYC, KYB, income, crypto assets, and other financial data into a single user permissioned identity. This is through Solo's Pass. It says this unlocks real-world lending on-chain, including mortgages, small business loans, and credit access for digital asset holders. Solo is trusted by 100+ banks and serves over 100 million users. So that's what I'm talking about. Both of these were supported by Eric Schmidt, but you can see that Solo is very, very trusted, and Keeta only works with the best people. So this should give you even more confidence. Next, they're getting recognized by big founders in the space. So, just like Jesse Pollock, the creator of Base. He says, a value from day one, Base is a bridge, not an island. It's why we built Tiny Ethereum, why we've worked hard to bring Bitcoin to Base, and why other L1s like Keeta Network TGE on Base. So, the quote tweet didn't even mention Keeta. Jesse just decided to mention Keeta alongside Ethereum and Base. So that shows you, Keeta's getting noticed by a lot of people, a lot of big founders. This was June 3rd. So as the time of this video, this is only 5 days ago. And it's already getting noticed by a lot of big founders. So you don't think they're in as well? You don't think they see the actual vision and see what Keeta will become? So that's something to think about as well. Also, this guy had a great video as well. If you want to watch his different breakdown than mine, he is at KCrypto.
Former CEO of Google is the lead investor. Bank of America is one of the earliest.
So go ahead and watch him. Again, he talks about a lot of good stuff. He says, doing what XRP has been promising for 10 years. So we'll actually compare KTA to XRP as well. And he says this could be the next 10 to 100x. He posted this on June 1st. So again, a lot of people are very bullish. And then finally, here, Humble Winning. He says, play of the year part 2, KTA to top 30. And then he talks about basically different metrics of why it's going to be top 30 in the space. and how compares to XRP, Solana, ADA, SUI, Tron, Ton, Link, and then AVAX, XLM, HBAR, DOT, etc. And how a lot of these are very archaic, how a lot of these don't combine all of the features that KTA combines. And again, a lot of these are dinosaurs as well, right? They've been around for a while. They haven't really innovated or built on top. And so KTA is a new kid on the block, but it's already gaining a ton of traction, already over 1 billion FDV. And so that's something as well to think about. Now, let's go ahead and compare KTA's market cap to that of some of these large tokens. So XRP is a big one that people always compare KTA to. So right now, KTA is around 142. So XRP, with KTA having the market cap of XRP, that's over a 230x, $327. Now, let's go a little bit lower. Okay, say we're comparing it to Solana. That's still 139x to $196. Let's go a little bit lower. Let's say we compare it to HBAR. That's still a 12x to $17.84. And then we even go one step lower to DOT. Again, get a little with that interoperability, not an exact one-to-one, but that's still a 10x. And DOT, I mean, I don't know anyone that uses DOT. So 10x obviously is the minimum here, but we're looking for the 12x, for the 139x, and even the 230x down the line. Okay? There should be no reason if, again, mainnet goes well, the TPS as is advertised, and they're continuing to deliver, why they shouldn't reach the market cap of Solana or even XRP. Because they're doing what a lot of these protocols have been aiming to do for a long time. And so I just wanted to make this video to help explain to you guys why I'm so bullish on KTA. And again, why 1.4 billion FDV is just the beginning. And again, I mentioned CryptoJamie. He always picks winning projects. He did his research on this one, and this one has absolutely sent. And that's why people like Eric Schmidt, prior CEO of Google, and other prominent investors, even Jesse, the creator of Base, have recognized KTA, and why so many other big people are recognizing it as well. So hopefully this video helped y'all out. If it did, please guys leave a like. Please comment if you liked it, and please subscribe if you haven't. Really appreciate all my subscribers. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Thanks for watching. Until next time.